the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters somehow. What if heaven and hell was right now? How would it be if you really created your life? Stories you told, the good and bad, that they come alive. And how would it change if your words were like nails and wood? You build your house, but you forget that it's just a house. We can rebuild it. Oh yes, and what if all the birds were flying just to show us? And all the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters in the end. What if all of our mistakes are forgiven? What if love is a lot of listening, a little bit of time, not pretending? We are caught up in a world of daydreams. What if loving what you have is everything? What if all the birds were flying just to show us? And all the trees were really holding the sky up, and everything that you do matters so much. How would you change your life? Oh yeah. How would it be if everything that you thought you knew was turned upside down, opposite from your point of view? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, y'all. Oh, I tell you what, I just have to play this one. You know, these are some of these songs are the songs that I played over the last 3 weekends, but I hope you don't mind. You know, it's really nice. These tunes are really nice for me to just kind of settle into. And in particular, this one, this is the newer one about being in between. And I do feel that in-betweenness a lot, especially lately. Yeah, here we go. Somewhere in between birth and death, somewhere in between here and not there yet, in between what I remember and what I forget, in between sorrow and happiness. I am in between the dark and dawn, in between letting go and holding on, in between being here and already gone, going somewhere, becoming someone. Oh, I am in between. And maybe in between is not so bad. Maybe it's always this way, things change and change again. High above the noise, everything expands. Leaning on each other, we are looking for a place to land. Somewhere in between. Middle of the pack, middle of the road, middle of the heap, middle of the unknown, messy and perfect, never getting done, rolling on a wheel in constant motion. I am in between saying yes and no, in between running and nowhere to go. I want to trust, but I want control. I am in between who I am and who I was before. I am in between. high, a little bit low, a little unforgiving. Then I let the edge go, trying to love the shadow of the sun. I'm between watching the drama and being in one. When I want to slow down, I get lost in distractions. I'm probably never gonna stop this inner tension, somewhere in between. So bad. Maybe it's always this way. Things change and change again. High above the noise, everything expands. We're always in transition. Yeah, I'm looking for a place to land, somewhere in between. Yeah, oh my gosh. Oh, y'all. So I'll just do one more before we officially welcome everyone here. Today, I met 500 crows crowded in the trees in my front yard. On the bare branches, they looked like leaves flying around. I was amazed. It sounded like a crow convention, like something big was going down. Some kind of argument, or maybe they were singing. And so I closed my eyes to better hear the crow chorus, to see if I could catch the beauty in their sound. Oh, they were singing out loud, such a clear and pure emotion. I felt moved, not even knowing what their music was about. Oh, yes. Love, I am part heartache. I am part joyful child. I am a grown-up that's still growing up, and I don't always have it figured out. To tell you the truth, I'm still searching, trying to find that bigger light. I want to break free from all this suffering. I want to learn how to enjoy my life. So I close my eyes to better hear your heart beating. 'Cause in your arms I feel relief from the despair. I wonder, how can I hold on to this feeling? Or can I listen to my own heartbeat and hear the music there? Oh, yes. I'm looking for a melody that will break my heart open wide. I want to sing with the angels now. Don't want to wait until I die. No. Today, I met 500 crows. Oh, thank you so much, y'all. Yeah, so welcome.
Thank you so much, Ellis. I love hearing Ellis sing, and I definitely relate to the whole in-between thing. And the being a grown-up, still working on growing up. I can't really believe I'm a grown-up, actually, but here I am. So I believe it's September 1st today. Yes. And we are a small but mighty crowd here on a perfect Minnesota summer day. So if you wouldn't mind, just for a moment, just like, you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to, but like just notice all the things that make this a beautiful day. The breeze, a little bit of sun, not too hot but warm. Sounds of kids enjoying themselves outside. Really nice. And not a hint of humidity in the air. Amen, she says. All right, so welcome to Fabric. We are Fabric Outdoors for the summer. This is actually our last Sunday at the Falls for the season. And next year, along with 5 million children, we'll be headed back to school. We'll be at Field School next Sunday, which is on 46th Street and 4th Avenue. So Fabric, what is Fabric? I come with natural suspicion of undefined public gatherings. We are, I guess you could say, a church for people who don't like church is one way to describe it. I personally grew up in a very defined, very not in between way of looking at the world, a faith tradition. It wasn't even a tradition, whatever. So for me, Fabric is a place where I can set aside time on a weekend and just pull away and gain perspective and have real conversations. And for me, when my kid was growing up, it was about a place where my kid could come and feel welcome and be totally themselves as well. So yeah, it's you're welcome here, whether you're just sitting, whether you're walking by, enjoying Ellis and her music, or you just want to hear a nice conversation, a real conversation that Ian will be having with Ellis in a little bit here. So what else? This week is the last week of Supernatural, which Ian will talk about. Next week, if you look in if you got a Sunday paper, if you didn't, there's a nice spot for notes on the inside, but this nice postcard here talks about what we're moving into, North Star. So I have been out for a while. I'm not exactly sure, but I have to assume it's about setting direction for where you want to go. And this is really resonating with me. I am a school nurse, so I'm about to launch into the school year. I was up on a mountain a few weeks ago and now trying to figure out how do I take just a little few steps here on real ground to like keep myself healthy. So I'm really looking forward to just taking some time to think about where are we headed, where am I headed? So that's what we're doing. What else do I want to say? There is a communication card in here. So if you're interested in just being connected, we'd love to have you just write down your name, any contact info you want to put on there. It's proof that you were here, but we won't share that with anyone. Your name will not go into an email list to any third party or anything like that. It's really just about connecting. So later on, we'll be putting them in the brown bags that are at the end of the benches here. So welcome. Thank you for being here. And now let's launch in. The most important thing, my apologies. At the end of this conversation and music extravaganza, there will be pie. So please don't leave because we have lots of pie and it's our responsibility to eat it together. And we have options if you don't like pie. Anything else? I think that's it. All right.
Well, Ian, should I just songs first? Okay. Sounds great. Let's see here for y'all. I'm going to do this one. This is a song that I think that this gathering And the folks here really do offer a safe place to land. You know, I'm changing my mind. I think I want to. Well, yeah, maybe I will do this one first, and then I kind of want to just get talking, because I feel like this one is just really coming up for me right now. I feel like, in particular, this song is I often write songs because I need them, and it's a way to help understand for myself life a little bit, you know, and sort of capture something I'm trying to figure out so I can look a little closer. And sometimes we need distance from things to see a little closer, right? And this particular song was inspired by just really trying to do my work, you know, as a white-bodied person, you know, in this culture we have that values, you know, lighter skin. But it's also really applies to just being a human. It's called Start Where You Are. Start where you are. Head in your hands. Cotton in your ears. Stone in your heart. Start where you are. Ocean in your eyes. Tears are like rain inside a bigger sky. Oh, there is a change coming on. Oh, there is a chance to wake up to what is going on. Start where you are. Thinking you know. Falling on your face. You can see the road. Start where you are. Wherever it is. Oh, loving can break your heart, but fear will do you in. Oh, there is a change coming on. Oh, there is a chance to wake up to what is going on. Start where you are. Start where you are. I say to myself, telling the truth is loving, even when it's hell, y'all. Start where you are. Stretch open your mind. Oh, that's how we'll come together. Oh, can we come together? 'Cause oh, there is a change coming on. chance to wake up to what is going on. Start where you are.
Do you mind if I just join you right here?
I love it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
That's sweet. It's a lot more shady up here. Well, thank you so much for being with us this last 3 weeks and for today in particular. One big round of applause for Ellis Delaney. So today we thought rather than ending our summer in kind of the same way we've been doing our gatherings on Sundays, where like I come up and then say something and then we go back to the music, we thought let's just weave it all together, integrate it today in kind of a musical end of the summer celebration. And so I'm really excited about this because the first time I saw you as part of the Fabric community, I was watching online while waiting to be zoomed in. It was the day that there was a vote happening on whether to ask me and my family to join on staff, basically. And Chris was sick, and Ellis was stepping in, and so I was all aflutter in my guts, and I'm grateful because you were a balm, and your ability to play the music and sing the music of the heart is so beautiful. So thank you for that.
Gosh, you're so welcome, Ian.
Yeah.
You're so welcome.
So I thought we could start. I just want to know, like, what brought you? What's the story that led you into playing guitar and writing songs and doing poetry in this way? What's your journey?
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of, make it a short story, I, like most kids, felt out of place, growing up. I mean, growing up is hard, and I was in a small town in Texas and, didn't know I was queer or didn't know I was non-binary. I was just like, it just felt weird and out of the sync, somehow. And so, I really looked to, I had been gifted a piano and then taught myself how to play. And my mom had a bad experience with piano, so she didn't want to, ruin me by giving me lessons. So I just made up stuff, and I made up stuff to remember. And then I started writing poetry, and to understand, I had a friend commit suicide at middle school, and that was it had a big impact on me, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And so what I was just drawn to was writing something, singing about it, like, somehow, trying to reach out and understand why that happened. And that was really the beginning of many songs, but I didn't think of myself as a songwriter. I just thought I was memorizing little snippets so I could come back later and be able to play them. You know what I mean? So it wasn't really a thought process, I am going to be a songwriter. It was more like, let me memorize this thing these shapes and these sounds, and then something happens when you play and sing. I think that connect, for me anyway, there's a vibration, and it feels really good, and it actually takes me more into my heart somehow. And then I joined a rock band when I moved up to Minnesota. I moved up to Minnesota when I was 16, and they had me immediately play the rhythm guitar. And so for me, it was hilarious because I had to, quick learn how to play 3 chords. I think it was Bob Dylan's, All Along the Watchtower, and so I was like, just learning the chords. And so I got through that ouchie period really fast because I had a gig that I was going to be playing, and so you have to make sure you can do it. And after that experience, like I just fell in love with the guitar. I really loved how it vibrated against me. I really, and my dad played guitar in the church choir, and I mean, I had some experience knowing that I loved the instrument, but I just had never really had the chance to learn it before, and the fact that you can carry it around, and so it became a really good friend.
Yeah.
And then I just did the same thing. But I was actually starting to write songs, but I didn't call myself a songwriter for a really long time because I didn't feel like, I could really call myself that. It's like a poet who doesn't call themselves a poet because they feel afraid that, they're not quite a poet,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't want to be like boastful. I'm a songwriter but I would write little songs all the time.
Yeah.
About everything.
I have notebooks full of poetry, but they're not perfect, so I'm not a poet,
Oh,
right?
Totally.
That kind of thing?
Yeah. I write poems too, but I'm not, it's like, I sing stuff. And,
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you. Ellis is a songwriter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a songwriter. So, Ellis, this summer we have been kind of all summer exploring this supernatural theme, kind of exploring the nature of divinity and affirming and celebrating and recognizing the diversity of ways that we think about being connected to a higher power, or about this idea of God, or all the ways that we get involved in it, however that looks, right? And so I'm wondering for you, what does it mean to you to be connected to something bigger?
Radical acceptance. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, that just came up right now in that, asking that question. I just feel like, with the kids playing here in the background, and like, people walking around, I feel like my brain is like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got like, wily kids. I've got like, something it would be appropriate if there was like a siren going off, what I mean? I mean, I feel like, something greater is for me to remember or to touch into that point place of feeling like I'm understanding that I'm not alone. That there is nature here that is a part of me and that I'm a part of, and it's not just me, myself, and I. It's actually something really larger that I can't quite comprehend, but that I feel is like being a fish in water.
Yeah.
They don't know they're wet, right?
Right.
But so I feel like that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Last week we talked a little bit about just like it not necessarily needing to believe in something that can't be perceived, but actually just like tapping into what is
Totally
around us, right? Yeah.
And settling a little bit, I mean, even as I'm talking to you, I'm noticing like, oh yeah, my where are my feet? You know what I mean? Like where is my body in space? Like, and noticing that like, there's so much happening here that I am sensing and touching into, but that my brain can't process, And so it's like, I don't know. I think that I think human beings are pretty amazing because we can like, look at ourselves.
Yeah.
Which,
what a gift and a curse.
And yeah, so I just feel like, I want to be more interested in looking and just being with what is here. And not necessarily having to come to conclusions about it.
Yeah.
And when I do that, there's more space, there's more connection, there's something greater than me that I'm connecting to.
Yeah. It seems like in your songwriting, like as I listen through your albums over time, that you have kind of consistently been noticing the things that are happening perhaps inside of you or inside of others, like stories that you've received, and are just kind of working through it and trying to both name what's happening and also wonder at it and like holding a posture of curiosity. And so I'm wondering if you'd be willing to talk just a little bit about your kind of process for creating art as a form of figuring that out? Like, what is that like for you?
Well, I love that question. I do. I feel like so much of, like Parker Palmer, that's the writer that, he talks about the quiet voice, and like really listening to the quiet voice. And I think oftentimes we're so busy in life that it's so easy to get away from what it's like to really just be with ourselves, and just really listen to what's going on in this heart and this mind. And for me, writing is a practice of getting quiet enough that I can like listen a little bit to what's going on in this heart and this mind. And what's going on in this heart and this mind is also being affected by my surroundings. So I could be writing from whatever's going on in here and then be intrigued by a conversation that's happening over there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, oh, that would be a good lyric, you know what I mean? And then like, there's like a part of the creative process that is about the tools of songwriting that I think about. However, primarily, it's about trying to understand what it is to be a human being and how to be clearer about happiness. And I think we all want to be happy. I know I want to be happy, and I don't always know how. There's so much happening in life that that causes us to be unhappy, causes suffering, and for me, and for I think all of us human beings, we're kind of in this predicament where we get to experience these pleasures, these joys, this abundance, and then at the end of life, if we are lucky, we lose everything that we love, and it's just this. This truth of it, and there's also something else going on, you know what I mean? And I'm curious, maybe we don't lose everything that we've loved in the same way that when I say it, I feel it right now. Like maybe there's a way of seeing that is more inclusive, that understands a bigger view, that doesn't take it so personally, and that can still really appreciate life every step of the way, not just when everything is going well, and I think for me, writing songs is a way of kind of trying to kind of connect. Well, definitely connect with curiosity. I like to know stuff.
Yeah.
I like to be certain.
Yeah.
And so I have to practice curiosity.
Yeah.
Because I'm like so sure I know, and then I have to be like, wait a minute, and usually it's my wife who's like,
well,
you're doing that thing,
yeah.
or you think you, and so, and I feel like it's a practice, right? We bump up against our assumptions, we bump up against our experiential stuff, and I think that is also the material that we get to work with.
Yeah.
And so that bumping doesn't have to be, or that, rupture sometimes doesn't have to be negative. It can actually be very exciting because it's like an opportunity to see more deeply. Like there's something going on here that's hooked me.
Yeah.
And I thought I knew. Why did I think I knew? No. Why did I get so attached to knowing this particular thing?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because I'm scared, because I fear, because I'm feeling, hurt.
Yeah.
It's like there's some protective quality happening, I think I know, protection.
Yeah.
Whereas, being curious is a way of being undefended.
Yeah.
And boundaried too, still understanding that. So I don't know, I said a lot of stuff. I'm just talking. I don't know. It's
I love it.
I don't know if I'm really saying anything.
I just recently was very aware of the ways that like my a value that I hold and how I live my life weren't aligned, right? So I was actually thinking about this space and being in the trees and I was listening to something about like climate change and about how cities are working to like create cleaner air and cleaner water and that kind of thing. And I was thinking like, oh, I really want to participate in that because a deep value I hold is the climate and the way that we are impacting it as humans, right? Mm-hmm. And as I'm doing it, right, I'm like aware that like I have just opened 2 packages of string cheese for my kids, and they're covered in plastic that's just throwaway, right?
Yeah.
And like all the ways throughout my day that just I create waste and I participate in the thing that I don't want to participate in, right?
Yeah.
And so then I was listening to your music again,
Yeah.
and there's this song you have called Bird on a Wire.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we could kind of play with that song a little bit, because there's this idea of like,
Yeah.
how do we both like name the reality of that tension and also have hope for what could be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because I'm. Well, here, let me just play a little bit here.
Yeah.
Do you remember how it starts? Okay, here we go. Is it the human condition to wrestle with love and fear? That was the beginning of the lines that I cut, and
Oh, sweet. We're getting the deep cut here.
yeah, deep cut, and then, so now that's what's coming up, you know. But I'm like, wait a minute, I changed that. It's different on the record. See here. Oh yeah, here we go. I can't believe we're in this situation. My heart breaks thinking it's too late. We draw lines, the temperatures rise, and the ocean doesn't care what land it takes. Well, how did we get so disconnected? I'm plugged in, but I'm out of touch. Well, can I find my way back to the garden? Break the spell that's got a hold on us. There's a bird on a wire in between the ground and sky. I can hear the song she's singing. I can hear holy joy ringing like a prayer on the wind. A touch of grace, hearing it. The love and peace we think is missing is right here all the time. I keep thinking I am one person. Icebergs melting, what can I do? Now or never, never seems so urgent. I worry about the weather, I never used to. I think of all the plastic in the ocean. It's part of nearly everything I buy. How do I change it? All these habits, it's hard to see we're running out of time. And we can't buy more time. There's a bird on a wire. Maybe if we heal our deepest wounds, generations of carried pain. I care about our children's children. It's time to do something. Well, can we do something? There's a bird on a wire in between the ground and sky. I can hear the song she's singing. I can hear holy joy ringing like a prayer on the wind. A touch of grace, hearing it. The love and peace we think is missing is right here all the time. Or somewhere inside you and I, there's a bird on a wire.
Ah, thank you. I love that. We just yesterday had our daughter turned 4 years old yesterday, so she's now older than she's ever been. And so that idea of caring for our children's children is like this really vague thing for me right now, as with, a parent of little teeny ones. But that feels like an easy entry point to grip onto. I don't know my children's children, if they're going to have children, and if they do, who those little people will be. But I know that how I act right now in my life towards my kids and towards the world has an impact on my children's children and your children's children and our children's children collectively, right?
Totally.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's also a tricky thing to write a song about a current crisis that we're in a way that has hope, especially with climate change, because, we are in this momentum-filled lifestyle.
Yeah.
That we have so many different ways that we use plastic, or, that we it almost feels like it's impossible to turn it around.
Yeah.
And what can we do individually, and how can we, like you were saying, it's like, how can we envision a future where, our kids and our kids' kids, have more just to have a home.
Yeah.
And are able to, have some amount of appreciation for what we have, because it'll still, some of it will still be here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so it's tricky to write something with hope in it, but I really do have a lot of hope, because there are so many projects, so many people in the world that are doing amazing things. With water, with resources, renewable resources, and so there is a lot happening that maybe we don't always hear about.
Yeah.
So I like to include that in my broader thinking. Not just focus on the things that are doom and gloom.
Yeah. 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 I appreciate that, and to have that word of hope, and to recognize the beautiful things that people are doing, right? And the things that we can all do to make an impact in the world, and to make a better future for our children's children. And I think that's a great note to hang with a little bit there. And to just revel in the reality that we are here for a limited time, each one of us, and we get to be here for a limited time and enjoy it. And so with that, because we want to probably move on to this morning, we're getting ready here to do pie for breakfast.
Yeah.
So if you're hungry, we hope you're hungry, because we have pie, but not just pie. We've got cheesecakes and all sorts of delicious things to choose from, gluten-free and vegan options over here too. So in a little bit, we're just going to have more music and time to eat.
Yeah.
Before we end our conversation, I just wanted to say thank you for the ways that you are part of this Fabric community, and for your generosity of time and spirit and wisdom with us, Ellis.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh my gosh, I love it, and I really appreciate y'all. I think this community is really sweet and special, and I did at first think you were a little culty.
Oh yeah.
I was a little worried. I loved Chris, and I was like, okay, we're gonna come in, and I'm just curious, what's happening here? You're offering me coffee. Where's the Kool-Aid?
Yeah. Oh, it's a big old bait and switch. That's the whole thing.
But so far, it's it's actually pretty awesome. It's like you're really actually, expansive in that way that really is welcoming and provides space for, people to be themselves.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I love being in this space with y'all.
Yeah.
Feel part of it.
Oh, and you are. Thank you. Very good. Well, do you mind playing Pie for Breakfast while I go down here to serve?
I don't mind at all.
Oh, fantastic.
Great idea.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. This is exactly it. How do we enjoy the little things, even amidst all the stuff going on. Sometimes you have pie for breakfast. Sometimes you gotta bend the rules. Maybe you laugh when it's time to cry. Maybe you cry when things are good. It's all right if you you want to
this is like
dance, and
ready.
if you don't,
Yes.
that's
Wow.
all right
Looks
too.
great.
You can do right by the world and still be true to you.
Come on in.
Strange days we're living in, like some kind of dream.
Friend.
We got the world in our pocket, popping up on a little screen. I've got a distracted mind, wrapped up in a restless heart. How do we break free to see the lighter side of the way things are? Yes. Or maybe a little pie for breakfast. Sometimes you gotta bend the rules. Maybe you laugh when it's time to cry. Maybe you cry when things are good. It's all right if you want to dance, and if you don't, it's all right too. You can do right by the world and still be true to you. Yeah. Hey! Well, I've been around a little. Reason why shadows follow the sun, shadow at my back. Oh, and there are so many troubles in this world to remember. Oh, sometimes you have pie for breakfast. Over there, pie for breakfast, yeah. Pie for breakfast, yeah. Oh, so much, y'all. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So I thought maybe this would be a good one to play for you, too. This is belonging and just stretching out all the boxes we need at times. We need boxes at times, but it's nice to not always have to rely on them as we grow. It gets tighter and tighter. Yeah. Gotta break out of the box. There you go. Every day we have to choose one of two boxes. Even before we're born, they ask pink or blue. What side of the store do you shop on? What salon or barber? Will they say your name and the pronouns you use? Oh, yeah. Oh, not everyone fits into a tux or a prom dress. Not everyone has the right box to check that makes sense. You might not understand if you find it easy to choose a restroom without making someone angry. What if one size fits all doesn't fit you at all? Everything is made for bodies smaller than you. It's always the same advice: exercise and eat less, tying all your troubles to the weight you could lose. Oh, yeah. Oh, not everyone fits into a tux or a prom dress. Not everyone has the right box to check that makes sense. You might not understand if you find it easy to try on any look or style that makes you feel fancy. Oh yeah, we all gotta be fancy, you know? It's true, right? What if the way you are is not the right way to be? Who you love or where you live or what you believe. You're either not enough or too much. The pressure is intense when the way you think and talk is neurodivergent. Oh, not everyone fits into a tux or a prom dress. Oh, not everyone is a model on a magazine rack. Could we make room for everyone to belong? 'Cause aren't we all better off being true a tux or a prom dress. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much, y'all. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Getting to play songs that I've needed, you know, and then to have other people relate is really, really special. Yeah, maybe I'll do this one for you before I play my last tune. This is a little something. I'll do it here. This is a love song, of course. A secret that I've learned. Nobody knows everything. We all get caught up in what we think and believe it's the truth. But mostly we don't have the answers, and life can feel like an unsteady boat drifting away from the land, making us feel alone. It is love that will carry you home. It is kindness that holds back the storms around you. It is patience sitting right beside the doubt. Oh, the only truth is what we do with right now. Yeah. Something I finally come to realize: everyone has to compromise, and we can't do it all at the same time. Oh, it just doesn't work. We can't spend our whole lives worrying about things out of our control, and then we find that life was built for change, and we have to let it all go. It is love that will carry you home. It is kindness that holds back the storms around you. Oh, it is patience sitting right beside the doubt. The only truth is what we do with right now.
Thank you. Big thank you to Ellis. Thank you so much for being here. Can we find you where can we find you online or in person?
Absolutely. Well, hey, you can join me on Patreon /Ellis. Patreon is a wonderful group, a community of people who love my music. Patreon itself is all about supporting artists like me, and artists of all kinds, really. You know, not just musicians, but also painters and you know, all sorts of artists. But Patreon is one way. EllisDelaney.com is another way. I also want to mention, if you want to go to Ireland in June, I'm going to Ireland in June with a group of people.
All right.
And check it out, please. We still have a few seats, you know, a few places available. I'm working with a tour company who develops tours for people who don't like tours.
Hey!
Yeah.
Whoa!
And I've been on, last year, we went on, I went on this trip, and it was amazing. I mean, we basically listened to a lot of Irish music, we learn a lot of Irish history, and we go to really beautiful places, and then I play a few concerts, just a couple, and I bring my guitar around, but mostly we're listening to the people who know what they're doing, so I'm really just along for the ride with the people who are there too. So it's a wonderful vacation. It's affordable too. It's not super expensive. As vacations go, it's pretty amazing what they're putting together for folks. So anyway, just putting a plug in there for Ireland in June, and then also you can find me on Spotify. I've got my favorite 5 records up there, and hopefully I'll be getting myself out and playing more around. I've been kind of. Trying out the full-time job thing. It's so
fun.
weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. For 20 years, I've just been playing music, so.
Well, we're happy to support you and are grateful for you. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And there are brown bags at the end of, I think, many benches. If you want to pass those around, if you have a communication card that you filled out, or if you feel so inclined to support this community financially, we are so grateful for that. Those can go around, and when they've kind of floated around your area, feel free to just pop them up here by the weaving wall. And with that, next week we are going to be meeting back indoors at Field Elementary School. So 10:30 on Sundays at Field Elementary School, and we'd love to have you join us. We're starting a new 6-week series called North Star next week. So we'll see you. Again, there is pie, and there are cupcakes and muffins and all sorts of pastries over here. So come fill your belly, bring some home for some friends. Thanks for being here. Have a great week.